Imagine the fun you'll have at your wedding, one of life's most treasured moments. In each episode, hear from leading wedding professionals as they share with you insider tips and personal advice for a magical wedding. Welcome to the Indian Wedding Podcast. Here to help plan your wedding with style and grace are your hosts, Kunal and Jinal Sampat.
Hi guys, this is Kunal and Jinal Sampat, your host for the Indian Wedding Podcast. In this interview, Jinal and I had an opportunity to speak with Karuna Chani, an internationally recognized makeup artist, image and skincare consultant based in New York City. If you are a bride looking to improve your skin or trying to decide on the right style of bridal makeup, this interview will serve you well. Karuna shares with us a wealth of knowledge, including her exact process on how she works with brides-to-be from start to finish. She shares with us her strategies that will make you look and feel beautiful on one of the most important days of your life. Personally, I enjoy learning about Karuna's professionalism, value, and commitment that she brings forward for her clients. Karuna has a background in fashion from Parsons and is known for her fashion-forward makeup looks and ability to perfectly marry Eastern cultural elements with Western beauty trends. Bridal clients seek out the KC makeup touch for that contemporary bridal look with elements of timeless beauty. Her work has been featured in over a dozen fashion and wedding publications. Her notable clients include Priyanka Chopra, Shahana Goswami, Caroline Shoefele, who's the co-president of Chopard, Amrita Singh, and Chandrika Tandon. Please join me in welcoming Karuna to the Indian Wedding Podcast.
Thank you so much, Karuna, for coming on our show today. We look forward to asking you some really interesting questions that I'm sure our brides can't wait to get answers of. The first thing I wanted to ask you was, can you tell us a little bit about your approach when it comes to choosing the right style of makeup for your brides, and how does your process look like?
Hi, Gino. How are you? Happy New Year. Thank you for having me. My process with helping my brides come up with a concept when it comes with makeup and hair, I do the full image consulting. So it's not just the makeup, but I first and foremost need to understand my client, her personal style, her needs, her hates, her likes. And in that process, what we do is once I've gotten a chance to get to know her, I come up with a really unique concept on how to develop how to bring the outfit together with the jewelry, with the makeup and the hair. Everything has to come together as one concept. And that's not just looking at the outfit. It's coming to an understanding of what her vision is.
And how do you do that?
I have to actually just get to sit down with her. And usually that happens during the trial. Sometimes they give me some inspirational images from Pinterest, from Instagram. They come in with a little bit of a guideline. I usually do pull a little bit of inspiration from the Bollywood trends, some of the Hollywood red carpet trends. We pull from all different places, but it really needs to come from the bride herself, at least a few pointers from her, so that we can really make the concept unique for her.
Right, because sometimes if they come with some concepts that you don't think that would suit best, would you actually tell them to do something else instead?
Yes, definitely. I mean, just because it works for a Bollywood star or a Hollywood celebrity, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for this client. What we try to do is bring a sense of reality to it. And if it doesn't, I'm one of those artists who doesn't lie to my client. I really want the best for this person. So what I do is I will let them know, I don't think this is the best option. How about we try something else? So I give them a few options. You're not stuck with one.
Yeah, because these days they kind of follow the trend, and I think it's the best to do what you like, or else it starts to look a little bit funky. So I was always curious how makeup artists deal with the all the fanciness that they have in their minds.
Also, you can't come in with 10 different pictures of 10 different makeup ideas. You have to kind of really help them filter and zone in on a concept. Because I have a fashion background, I think as if it's one collection on the runway. You can't have 10 different looks on the runway. So when she brings me her outfit and her shoes and her accessories, I'm able to really zone in on where I'm going to go with this. Plus, you also have to take into consideration skin type, skin color, body type, um, skin texture. Also, what's going to complement the outfit.
So before we got started, you were saying about, before I hit record, you said about like you pay attention to the bride's skin, and you're also a skin consultant. So how does that fit into your process? Could you elaborate on that a
I
bit
tell my
more?
clients I'm a makeup artist. I'm not a magician. I'm also not a plastic surgeon. So, I can only do my job if you do your part. There's a little bit of legwork that goes into looking flawless. And if you don't have good skin or you've been suffering with skin issues, what I usually do is I consult with a skincare specialist, a dermatologist, a plastic surgeon, or even just simply a facialist who can really get my client up to speed, make their, once you have a great base, my job is
Mm.
easy peasy. But it's a
Mm.
process. And the good thing is that when they book me, I have a year in advance, or at least 8 months in advance, to get them to that speed, up to that speed.
So they actually need 8 months in advance to kind of
Yeah,
prep
depending on
before their
depending
wedding.
on the
Yeah.
skin type and the problems, it could take a year. Nowadays it's not just
Okay.
facials and makeup anymore. Now it's heading into a more serious, more in depth, where
Mm.
it's plastic surgery. They want lip fillers, they want Botox. It's which requires time.
Correct. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, is there anything that you can like give tips on what they must do to take care of their skin, right when they know they're going to get married in a year or
Well, the
two?
good thing is that I have the time with them, so I have a bit of a natural approach, and then I also have the non-natural approach where take advantage of all the latest technology to better yourself. If you're somebody who feels better in getting a nose job, having Fraxel done, getting Botox, do it. I am all for
Mm.
bettering your self-esteem. But as far as the natural portion, it's, lots of green tea, lots of fluids, exercise to get the blood circulation going. A girl who starves
Mm.
compared to a girl who eats right and works out, the color of the skin and the way the body reacts is very, very different.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is there a green tea that you recommend?
There's one by, I think, Mighty Leaf, which is called tropical green tea. It tastes amazing. You add a little drop of honey. Sometimes, when you drink just water or just plain green tea, it's bitter, it's boring, it's bland. You need to kind of spice it up a little bit. So I always tell them to add a lemon, orange, lime, something to make it a little bit more interesting. But you would be surprised
Refreshing.
what a difference the skin can make if you have just simply 4, 5, 6 glasses of water a day, and cutting out certain foods.
Yeah.
1 week. Then we really, what we do is we really buckle down 1 week before the wedding. No carbohydrates, no sugars, no drinking, no smoking. A lot of girls have become, social media has made the girls really self conscious, and everybody just has a vision of themselves, and they're desperate to get there, and they generally listen to me.
Because they want to get the end goal of looking amazing. Yeah.
What percentage of brides, or how prevalent is the plastic surgery or the Botox? If you could just give an idea of what percentage of people, and when maybe we're talking about United States or people that you serve.
In the non-Asian, like I specialize with South Asian weddings, but my non-Asian clients, it's very high. All of them have had some kind of
Mm.
filler, Botox, Fraxel, some kind of procedure to really enhance their features. But in the Asian community, it's definitely growing every year. It's still small. We still believe very much in
Sure,
natural beauty, but I definitely see a shift the past 3 years specifically.
sure, that's great.
On the other note, this is a question that I personally wanted to ask you. With the increasing number of like makeup tutorials on YouTube, and Instagram, have you seen that brides want to do their own makeup on their wedding day or other events versus hiring a professional because she may be more comfortable, with her own style and doesn't want to, experiment on the special day? I'm curious to know what your
Actually, on the
thoughts are
contrary, it's the other way
on
around.
that.
They see all these tutorials, they see all these gorgeous, flawless faces, and they admire it, and they're so
Mm.
envious that they want to be it and look like it. It if you're somebody who's not in the cosmetic or the beauty or the fashion world, it's very overwhelming to watch these videos and to learn anything. What people don't realize is that the video has been so edited, you don't realize that these videos actually take 3 hours to complete, sometimes 4 hours to complete. And then what you see in the end is 3, 4, 5 minutes, cut, cut, cut. But it's actually takes a while to do wedding makeup. And I would highly recommend having a professional so you have one less thing to stress about. There's already so many moving parts to a wedding. It is nothing worse than trying to do it yourself and then you forget your lash or you're getting so much more overwhelmed.
Hmm. Yeah, because there's information everywhere, It's just better to choose where you want to spend your time on.
What I do is I
Yeah,
walk the
totally.
client through the process so they're not caught off guard. When I'm doing the primer, what colors I'm using, why I've chose these colors, just to just so that there's a level of comfort and a relationship that I'm building with them.
Hmm.
Wow. So you go that extra mile to explain them as you're doing your makeup? Is
Yes.
that what it is, or like
Yes,
before when you're actually
absolutely.
okay,
I also
as you're
teach
doing? Mhm.
makeup. If I'm not doing weddings, the other half of my job is I privately teach makeup to groups of ladies or singular one-on-one. So a part of that is I'm very detail oriented.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit more about like how you got into teaching and where do you currently teach and what
Well, so I
drives you to
currently
do
have my
that?
own office in the city on 29th and Broadway. So generally, I like to do one-on-one sessions because I can really cater it to that person's specific needs and concerns. If not, then we have girls who are having birthday bashes. So instead of going out for a night of clubbing, they'll get 10 girls together, rent out a penthouse in a hotel, and have me do the makeup
Hmm.
for one of the guests. And I teach them. It takes about 3 hours.
That's fun. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's actually a growing trend where you get 5, 6 ladies together where there's champagne and snacks, and we learn makeup. I teach them very daily life skills like professional look, and then a look that can transition into nighttime. So we're not looking at crazy products, spending an X amount of money. We're working on a very kind of like makeup for dummies, slow and steady. Keeping the techniques very simple but glamorous.
So, in your opinion, like, what do you think brides need to know when choosing a makeup artist for their wedding? Because there are so many to choose from. How would they decide which one is
Like
perfect for them?
specifically, for example, in my community where, I'm Indian, you want to look for somebody who specializes with women of color or olive skin. You want to make sure that the website is attractive and updated. Obviously, Instagram is the whole and soul world at this moment. I feel like Facebook has completely taken a back seat, but
Hmm.
it is a great place to look at somebody's portfolio. And when those things are not updated, it tells you a little bit about the artist, where they stand. Also, having a personal phone call. You can only go so far with emails. It's really important to have a personal chat,
Hmm.
list out your questions, and no question is silly. Ask away. Building a relationship and really gelling well with your artist is the best way to go.
So who places that phone call? Do you expect the brides to make that phone call, or do you feel the makeup artist needs to take
Once I
that
get the
lead on
inquiry
that?
from the
Or
client, I always request a cell phone number. I always make a phone call. There are certain things that come along with a voice,
sure,
and having that personal touch that you can't get from an impersonal email or text.
right, absolutely.
Hmm.
What are some of the your favorite questions that have come up on those calls? Is there any that kind of stand out?
One of them is like, "Oh, you look so young. You don't look like you know much. Are you Indian? I
I
don't feel
can believe
comfortable."
that.
I'm like, "My name's Karuna. It's a Hindu last." There's been, I mean, most of the questions I find
How,
very entertaining. I don't get offended by any of them. The one that I think that probably bothers me the most is, do you have a discount system?
and why does it bother you? Could you share on that? Like,
Let's
what
put it
is
this way: when you go to Louis Vuitton or Chanel, you're paying for the quality,
mhm.
the service, the impeccable workmanship. and the level of quality that is being brought to the table. I think asking for discounts is there's nothing wrong with asking once, but you're paying for service, you're paying for quality and time. It's what the person is bringing to the table, and when you can't afford it, it's totally fine. You have to look for somebody that's within your budget. There's nothing wrong with asking for a discount.
So what are the major like issues brides usually don't know when finalizing the looks, like the makeup looks for each event with an artist that she will be working with?
I think one of the problems is they think that they have to match the outfit, they have to match the decor. They don't seem to realize that the outfit and the makeup have to complement each other, not compete with each other. If you have a very heavy outfit or you have a very heavy necklace set, you can go a little bit softer and balance out the makeup with some softer natural tones. I think the sense of fashion and style with the Indians here in the U.S., maybe I should specifically say New York City, we are very behind, extremely behind on fashion and beauty.
Wow. How come? Why do you say that? We're behind compared
Compared
to
to
who?
Bombay, compared to Paris, even compared to California, I feel like there's a lack of exposure. We don't have availability to all the top brands, and what's happening now is that the girls have such high demand jobs, they are unable to fly to India, and if they do fly to India, they don't have a honeymoon. Their jobs are being threatened, so they are being forced to
Mm,
purchase within the tri-state, or
wow.
the
So how can they get ahead of
I
that?
mean, they really need to do some homework. Maybe hire a stylist, have an event planner that is very much in the know, or at least, in
Mm,
my case, I consult my client with their wardrobe as well. If they're um, purchasing within New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delhi, Surat, Bombay, I will give them some names of private boutiques that have a bunch of designers under one umbrella. So they have a variety to
sure.
choose from. I've
Yeah,
seen what's in the tri-state market, and it is really disappointing.
Hmm,
sure.
I see. So do you actually work with the event planners too as well?
Not so much. Usually, what happens is the bride is usually booked me first, and then comes the planner, or vice versa. I try to
Okay.
tackle my client, single-handedly, so that she's not overwhelmed with too many people talking in her ear and influencing her. Usually the bride nowadays, the girls are so strong and have such a strong opinion of themselves and what they want. The outfit, the jewelry, the accessories all have been purchased, and I come in at that point where I'm working with what they've given me. So I'm styling the dupatta. I'm actually removing one necklace because they're wearing three. I'm restyling from what they've given me already.
I
It,
see. So it's very important for them to know what they're going to wear and the outfits before they can actually do the
Yes. Yeah,
trial,
in my
basically,
case,
right?
I would like to say it's mandatory. When you book me and when you come for my trial, I highly request that you bring in certain pieces from the wedding outfit, the reception outfit, the sangeet, the garba. I have to see pieces of the outfit to complete the concept. It also makes for a better final visual for the client themselves. If you come in unprepared, you walk out unprepared.
absolutely,
It just
absolutely.
it turns out to be a much less stressful day when the trial has happened incomplete.
Right.
Right. So trial is must, right? Is it having a trial is mandatory basically before
Yeah,
the
I think
actual
for me it
event?
is. I know a lot of makeup artists,
Yeah.
they don't recommend it or they don't demand it. I think it's good. It helps the bride feel less stressed out.
Hmm.
Mm,
Makes sense. So Karuna, I know you are a really creative person from all your Instagram stories and also what I have and your work shows that mostly. So where does your inspiration comes from when you're, and I know you read a lot of books. So how do you get inspired and keep yourself
I
up
do a
to
lot
date?
of Bollywood research. I do a lot of Hollywood research. Anytime there's a red carpet event like the Emmys, the Golden Globes, the Oscars, I make sure that I am not socializing that night. I watch the whole event. I see the latest trends. Also with the Bollywood weddings, I study all the designers that they're wearing, where the jewelry came from, who's the makeup artist, what was the thought behind the celebrity's look. Uh, Also, with it's really as a makeup artist and an image consultant, you have to be very ahead of the trend. You have to know what's going on. That's what the client expects from me. I'm bringing something new to the table.
So I know before we got started, we also were talking about your childhood background a little bit, and you said your dad was Persian and your mom was Hindu. Did that influence like your career in this space, or how did your childhood have an impact on what you're doing today?
Actually, my dad is Hindu and my
Oh, I'm
mom is
sorry.
Persian. No worries. I think it really highly impacted my choices in life. Just my mom is so progressive. She's so modern. All she ever said to me was "fly, go fly."
Mm.
But my father, obviously, with Indian parents, they want you to have more stability. So they want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, a physician, something that is a steady lifestyle. I've chosen a career that is, you don't have a steady paycheck. You're really depending on. It's a new client every time. I've been very fortunate. I've been in the business for 18 years. I have a lot of repeat clients. I've built it that way to make it a steady lifestyle.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's really all about building relationships and um, taking that extra time to get to know your client.
Yeah, on that note, like I've also seen like you share a lot of personal life stories, what you do on a day-to-day basis, even your questions with your audience. How important is it, according to you, for a bride to actually know you personally before they actually choose to work with you?
I think it's very important. She needs to understand where I'm coming from, so that she understands why I'm creating this concept for her. I think the reason why I've become more personal on my social media is because I've been told I'm very I have a bit of a reputation of being cold
Hmm.
and very overly professional. And sometimes, when you're working with clients, you have your guard up because you want to remain professional. But in this new generation, we call them millennials, it's all about getting personal.
Mm.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that's such a valid point. Like if you had a surgeon doing surgery on you, you'd expect them to be professional when they walk in the door, and
Yeah,
not get chatty with you or share their personal life. But when you
yeah,
talk about like things in the fashion industry, the wedding industry, or even other businesses, I feel people want to get to know you better
yes.
before they sign up to work with you.
I mean, I will chat with the client before and after, but when the actual day has arrived, I'm very quiet. I'm here to do my job and I want to do it extremely well. I want to make sure that the client is happy, my work is precise. And you have to remember, I'm the first person that touches her. The next person that needs her is the photographer. So if I'm running late, everything gets off track. So
Absolutely.
it's a huge responsibility on my head to make sure she's set to go on time.
So I know, Karuna, you're known for like contemporary South Asian makeup style, which is timeless in my eyes. But can you elaborate on what that actually means? Like, what is the style that it indicates?
For me, makeup is meant to enhance the beauty that you already have. I don't like to transform them to the point where they're unrecognizable. There are many brides and many clients love that, to each their own. And there's nothing wrong with it either. But I'm the type of person who takes a much more softer approach. I'm not going to let your flaws show through. I am going to cover them, but not to the point where we're masking it. And I really think that makeup needs to be seen as a tool for enhancement, not a tool to change.
I see. Yeah, it's absolutely. I feel that way too. Sometimes I mean, brides just look like masked, someone else, the third person, versus what they actually are.
And I think it comes with time. When you have a young bride, she really wants to be transformative. When you have a slightly older bride, I've noticed my brides who are 35 plus, they know who they are, they're very comfortable in their skin, and they want to remain that way for their events. They don't want a lot. They want to go more understated, more elegant. So I think it comes with time.
I see.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share that you didn't share with us?
Um, those are really good questions.
Thank you. Is there anything that you want us to ask you that is really important for the brides to know?
Just that, doing makeup alone is, you can't just do one job these days. In this country, you have to really be the jack of all trades. But I'm really lucky to have a fashion background and a skincare background. And, I feel like what I bring to the table is a lot more than just beauty and cosmetics. I'm really able to zone in and help my client from head to toe.
Right.
And I come with a whole bunch of, private contacts that I give them, from mehndi artist, event planner, plastic surgeon, facialist, hairstylist. It's pretty much an all-around package.
Yeah, which is awesome.
This is what they want.
They're getting a lot of value from working with you through this process.
And that's why I don't follow the discount system, because I'm bringing a lot to the table.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's a form of art, and then if someone respects your art, he would never ask for a discount or something of that sort. At the end, it's an art form.
I think, being in my 40s, I come with a little bit more patience and understanding compared to the newer generation. I feel like they're very entitled. They have lack of patience. There's a beauty in being in this age range. I think you're really able to understand people's personalities.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a wiser person.
Definitely. I think so.
I think if that's all we have, so we just want to thank you for really coming on the Indian Wedding Podcast and sharing your experience and your world with us today. And I'm sure the audience will get a lot out of this interview. So thank you so much, Karuna, for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.
Thank you for listening to the Indian Wedding Podcast. For more exclusive time and money-saving tips, head over to sampatjewelers.com/podcast.